Says, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
I was in high school when Dr. King gave that speech. Words can be so powerful, and to this day, his words still move me. As healthcare providers, I think most of us went into this profession because we wanted to help people. We wanted to make a difference. And you know, even if everything goes well professionally and we stay healthy, we really have maybe 30, 40, or 50 years to accomplish our dream. And in the big picture, that time can go by so fast. But that dream is important. It gets to the core of what it is that we do. Patient by patient, hour by hour. That in itself is a very sacred calling. And really, there's nothing more noble, or for that matter, more gratifying. But as practitioners, we sometimes yearn for a broader impact. And at the same time, many of us are wondering about all the changes that are taking place and what these changes might mean for our profession as we know it. As it is, many of us are tied down. If we want to earn more income, we have to see more patients. A lot of us are locked into the pay-per-hour model. That's just how our profession has been defined. And that just adds to an already busy schedule. Some of us are looking ahead to retiring, and given what the stock market's done in the last 2 years, some of the practitioners that I talk with wonder how they'll ever do that. So is there a way to take what we do out into our communities, our state, or country, or even into the world where policy is made? Is there a way to help people think about new ideas for their lives, their families, or their communities? What got us into this work in the first place was driven by a dream. But how do we make it happen? Let's get into that a bit more. I've got some ideas. What if I were to tell you that there's a way to take your credentials and your experience and put them on a broader platform where you can take charge, extend your reputation, and also maybe earn some more income as well, while at the same time further the dream that got you here in the first place? It was about 2 years ago, and after working for almost 40 years, 17 at the University of Connecticut and 22 now at NICABM, and some private practice thrown in there as well. Anyway, 2 years ago, I wanted to expand our outreach. Fortunately, I found some great teachers. They were experts whose experience and advice I trusted. I could see that what they were doing worked. They were getting the success that I wanted. So that's when I was advised to create my first blog. And you might be thinking, just a blog? Well, it's the easiest and fastest way to connect with a wider audience. I can write a blog in the morning, and the next day, a few thousand practitioners have read my thoughts. And they're posting comments and sending me emails. That gives me the platform to have an impact. And with a platform, we can bring control to our future and shape to our dream. It used to be we had to write a book to get our ideas out. And that meant first bringing your idea to an agent and persuading that agent of its worth, and then your agent would shop your proposal to a publisher, and after it was accepted, you'd start writing and rewriting and working with an editor, and maybe after a year or longer, you'd be ready to print. And even succeeding at all this, you'd be dealing with and relying on all these gatekeepers just standing between you and your readers. But with a blog, you can be in charge. You can write a post and that same day connect with readers, some of whom have never heard of you. Now, when we've talked to practitioners about creating their own blogs, they're always curious, but they usually bring up two major roadblocks. We hear them over and over again. First, they tell us, I don't know what to write about. And second, they tell us, I'm stuck on the technical stuff. So we've created a series of 3 videos to solve these roadblocks. By the time we finish this video, you'll have lots of content ideas. And in the next video, we'll show you how to manage the few technical aspects needed to create your blog. Then in the final video, we'll focus on how to get people to find and read your blog and also how to monetize it. So let's get started. Right now, you might be thinking, as I did at first, how do I come up with that first idea? And the idea after that. This is the #1 key to success. Actually, before I got started, I struggled for a long time with that. But after writing no more than 3 blog posts, ideas started to come to me all the time. Here are a few for you to consider. First, you can use current events in your town, country, or in the world as a springboard. For example, let's say a player on your local team is sidelined with an injury. You could use that as a lead-in for 3 tips for managing pain. Or maybe a celebrity is going through surgery. You might use that as a lead-in for using guided imagery or hypnosis when preparing for surgery. Or maybe someone famous is retiring or leaving office. You could use that as a lead-in on how to have a meaningful life in retirement. Or in a recent tragedy, when the president of Poland died, you might use that as a lead-in to coping with loss, adversity, or change. Or when Oprah Winfrey said that she has hypothyroidism. If that's your area of expertise, you could jump from there to talking about a holistic approach to treating hypothyroidism. Second, make a list of the 5 most common questions your patients ask in your specialty. Then record your answers and have them transcribed and edited. For example, if you're a cardiologist or a cardiac nurse, you might get questions like, and I'm just making these up, how will I know if I'm having another attack? How soon can I resume sexual relations? Am I really as good as new? Or maybe you're a psychotherapist or a social worker who works with patients who have just had bypass surgery. You might get questions like, how do I get over the terror that I felt that day that I had my heart attack? Or how do I get over the dread of this happening again? Or how can I reassure my family that I'm okay? With just these questions alone, you could generate a whole series of posts. A third idea for creating a blog post might be to share a part of your personal story. You might tell about an experience that can lead right into a teaching point. For example, share a time of challenge or triumph where you or someone close to you faced tough odds. You could use that as a lead-in to talk about guided imagery to visualize your goal. Or maybe you've had an injury or someone you know has. You could use that as a lead-in to talk about pain management. Or maybe you've just had one of those important conversations with your teenager. You could use that to show how fostering attunement can strengthen relationships. Again, these are just a few of the ideas that you can use to generate content for your blog. Here's a fourth that might come from a resource you already have. Take the handouts from a workshop you've already done and repurpose them into bite-sized chunks. Now you'll have a whole series of blogs. In our next video, we'll be walking you step by step through the technical aspects of getting your blog up and running. If you'd like to get it, just put your name in the box to the right. That will tell us where to send it. This box, right over here. Fill in your name and your email address, and as soon as the video's ready, we'll email you the link. It'll be out in just a few days. Now though, it's time for me to sign off. Actually, I've got to go write a blog. I'll talk to you soon.